I remember the day my life changed. It was a day like any other, yet it felt different. The weight of everything I had been carrying suddenly became unbearable. I was overwhelmed, exhausted, and completely lost. Every task felt monumental, every decision insurmountable. I couldn't see a way out of the fog that had enveloped my mind. I felt like I was failing at everything, my work, my relationships, even myself. The harder I tried, the more it seemed like I was sinking deeper into quicksand. It was like I had hit a wall, a brick wall that I didn't know how to get past. Something had to change. I couldn't keep living in this state of constant struggle and despair. I had always been the strong one, the one who held it all together. People relied on me, and I prided myself on being dependable. But inside, I was falling apart. I thought showing vulnerability was a sign of weakness. I believed that admitting I was struggling would make me seem less capable, less worthy. I bottled up my emotions, pretending everything was fine. I wore a mask of composure, but inside I was crumbling. The facade was becoming harder to maintain, but inside I was crumbling. The pressure was mounting, and I felt like I was on the verge of breaking down completely. The weight of it all was suffocating me. I couldn't breathe, couldn't think clearly. It was as if I was trapped in a never-ending cycle of stress and anxiety. That day, I realized I couldn't keep living this way. I needed to find a way out, a way to reclaim my life and my sense of self. I needed to make a change. It was a daunting thought, but I knew it was necessary. I had to take control of my life and steer it in a new direction. I needed to figure out who I was, what I wanted, and how to live a life that felt authentic to me. It was time to stop living for others and start living for myself. It was terrifying, but I knew deep down this was my chance to start living a more fulfilling life. I had to confront my fears and embrace the unknown. I had to be brave enough to take the first step. It was the beginning of a journey towards self-discovery and healing, and I was ready to face it head-on. For years I had lived my life in a carefully constructed comfort zone. It was a place where everything was predictable and I felt in control. I knew what to expect, and there were no surprises. It was safe and familiar, but it was also limiting. I found myself stuck in a routine that never changed, and while it felt comfortable, it also felt stagnant. I avoided anything that made me uncomfortable, whether it was trying new things, speaking my truth, or stepping out of my usual environment. I shied away from challenges and new experiences, or letting people truly see me. I built walls around myself, thinking they would protect me, but they only isolated me further. This fear kept me stuck. I was paralyzed by the thought of failure and the fear of being judged by others. I was afraid of failure, afraid of judgment, and most of all, afraid of being vulnerable. I didn't want to expose my true self to the world, and most of all, afraid of being vulnerable. I feared that if people saw the real me, they wouldn't accept me. I didn't realize that my comfort zone, while seemingly safe, was actually holding me back from experiencing the fullness of life. It was a barrier that kept me from growing and evolving. Breaking free from this self-imposed prison required me to confront my fears. I had to face them head-on and challenge the beliefs that kept me confined. I had to acknowledge them, understand their roots, and recognize how they were impacting my life. Understand where they came from, and most importantly, choose to move forward despite them. It was about making a conscious decision to step out of my comfort zone, and most importantly, choose to move forward despite them. It was about making a conscious decision to step out of my comfort zone and embrace the unknown. It was a slow and sometimes painful process, filled with moments of doubt and hesitation, but each small step I took was a victory. But with each step outside my comfort zone, I felt a little bit stronger. I began to see the world in a new light, and I realized that the possibilities were endless. The first step was the hardest. It was about acknowledging that I needed help, and that asking for help wasn't a weakness, but a sign of strength. I started seeing a therapist, someone who could provide a safe and supportive space for me to unravel my thoughts and feelings. With my therapist's guidance, I began to identify the negative thought patterns that were holding me back. I learned to challenge these thoughts and replace them with more positive and empowering ones. I also started practicing mindfulness and self-compassion. I learned to be present in the moment, to observe my thoughts and feelings without judgment, and to treat myself with the same kindness and understanding that I would offer a close friend. Each small step I took, no matter how insignificant it seemed, brought me closer to understanding myself and living a more authentic life. One of the most important lessons I learned on my journey was the power of vulnerability. It was a concept that I had always struggled with, something that seemed foreign and uncomfortable to me. For so long, I had equated vulnerability with weakness. I believed that showing any sign of vulnerability would make me appear fragile and incapable. I thought that showing my true self, flaws and all, would make me appear weak and unworthy of love and belonging. But I was wrong. I learned that vulnerability is actually a sign of strength. Vulnerability is not weakness, it's courage. It's the courage to be open, to be real, and to be seen for who we truly are. It's about having the strength to show up as our authentic selves, even when it's scary. It's about embracing our imperfections and understanding that they are part of what makes us human. It's about letting people see our true hearts, even the messy and imperfect parts. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we create space for genuine connections. Asking for help was another crucial part of my journey. It was something I had always found difficult, fearing that it would make me seem dependent or incapable. I realized that I didn't have to go through this alone. There were people around me who genuinely cared and wanted to help. There were people in my life who loved and cared about me, and they wanted to support me. By reaching out, I found that asking for help was not a sign of weakness, but a step towards healing and growth. By allowing myself to be vulnerable and ask for help, I opened myself up to deeper connections and a more fulfilling life. I discovered that true strength lies in our ability to be open, to seek support, and to embrace our authentic selves. Section 5. Building stronger relationships through personal growth. As I continued on my personal growth journey, I began to notice a positive shift in my relationships. By showing up as my authentic self, I attracted people who appreciated me for who I truly was. My relationships became more genuine and meaningful. I was able to communicate more effectively, set healthier boundaries, and show up for the people I cared about in a more authentic and supportive way. Personal growth isn't just about improving ourselves, it's also about improving the quality of our relationships. When we invest in our own well-being, we naturally become better partners, friends, family members, and colleagues. Section 6. Embracing imperfection and celebrating small victories. Personal growth is not about achieving perfection, it's about embracing our imperfections and striving to be the best versions of ourselves. It's about recognizing that we are all a work in progress, and that's perfectly okay. Along the way, it's important to celebrate the small victories. Every step forward, no matter how small, is a reason to celebrate. Whether it's facing a fear, setting a boundary, or simply showing up for ourselves in a new way, these small triumphs add up to create big changes. Remember to be kind to yourself throughout the process. Personal growth can be challenging, and there will be setbacks along the way. But it's important to approach ourselves with compassion and understanding, knowing that we are doing the best we can with the tools we have at the time. Section 7. The ripple effect of personal transformation. The beauty of personal growth is that it doesn't just transform our own lives, it has a ripple effect on the world around us. As we become more self-aware, compassionate, and authentic, we inspire others to do the same. Our personal growth journeys have the power to create positive change in our families, our communities, and even the world at large. When we show up as our best selves, we create a ripple effect of positivity and possibility. Never underestimate the power of your own transformation. Your journey has the potential to inspire and uplift others in ways you may never fully realize. Section 8. The never-ending journey of self-discovery. Personal growth is not a destination, it's a lifelong journey. There will always be new challenges to face, new lessons to learn, and new ways to grow. Embrace the journey with all its ups and downs, knowing that each experience is an opportunity for growth and self-discovery. Stay curious, stay open to new possibilities, and never stop learning and evolving. The journey of self-discovery is an adventure, and it's one that we get to choose to embark on every single day. Remember that you are not alone on this journey. There are countless others who are on their own paths of self-discovery, and there is strength and support in knowing that we are all in this together. Section 9. You are worthy of growth and connection. As you embark on your own journey of personal growth, remember that you are worthy of love, belonging, and connection. You are worthy of living a life that is authentic and fulfilling. You are worthy of experiencing joy, love, and peace. Believe in yourself and your ability to create positive change in your life. You have the power within you to transform yourself and your world. Embrace the journey, celebrate your progress, and never stop believing in the power of personal growth. You are capable of amazing things. Go out there and create the life you deserve.